ओ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ हृदाकाशे सदा भान्तं शान्तमानन्दरूपिणं ज्ञानभानुमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं सत्यसायिनम् ॐ भास्कराय विद्महे मखद्युतिकराय धीमहि तन्नो आदित्यः प्रचोदयात् आरोगो भ्राजः पटरः पतङ्गः स्वर्णरोज्योतिषीमान् विभासः ते अस्मै सर्वे दिवमातपन्ति ऊर्जन्दुहाना अनपस्फुरन्त इति कस्य पोष्टमः समहामेरुन्न जहाति तस्यैषा भवति यत्ते शिल्पं कश्यपरोचनावत् इन्द्रियावत् पुष्कलं चित्रभानु यस्मिन् सूर्या अर्पिताः सप्तसाकं तस्मिन् राजानमधिविश्रयेममिति ते अस्मै सर्वे कश्यपा ज्योतिर्लभन्ते तान् सोमः कश्यपादधिनिर्धमति भ्रस्ता कर्म कृदिवैवम् प्राणो जीवानीन्द्रिय जीवानि सप्तशीर्षण्याः प्राणाः सूर्या इत्याचार्याः अपश्यमहमेतान् सप्तसूर्यानिति पञ्चकर्णो वात्स्यायनः सप्तकर्णश्च प्लाक्षिः आनुश्रविक एव नौकश्यप इति उभौ वेदयिते न हि शेकुमिव महामेरुं गन्तुम् अपश्यमहमेतत् सूर्यमण्डलं परिवर्तमानम् गार्ग्यः प्राणत्रातः गच्छन्तमहामेरुम् एकञ्चाजहतं भ्राजपटरपतङ्गानिहने तिष्ठन्नातपन्ति तस्मादिह तप्त्रितपाः अमुत्रेतरे तस्मादिहातप्त्रितपाः तेषामेषा भवति सप्तसूर्यादिवमनुप्रविष्टाः तानन्वेति पथिभिर्दक्षिणावान् ते अस्मै सर्वे घृतमातपन्ति ऊर्जन्दुहाना अनपस्फुरन्त इति सप्तर्त्विजः सूर्या इत्याचार्याः तेषामेषा भवति सप्तदिशो नानासूर्याः सप्तहोतार Tvijaha Deva Adityaye Sapta Tebhis Soma Bhirakshana Iti Tadapyamnayah Digbhraja Ritun Karoti Etayaivavrita Sahasrasuryataya इति वैशम्पायनः तस्यैषा भवति यद्याव इन्द्रते शतगुं शतं भूमिः उत स्युः न त्वा वज्रिन् सहस्रगुं सूर्या आह ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः offering our collective love at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri 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 Satya Sai Baba Varu. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hari Om, Shalom, Sai Ram, Namaste. Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not hate or contradict each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. Om Sri Sai Ram, and we'll look into the last mantra of Anuvakam 7 in this class. This seventh Anuvakam is about Surya Mandalam. The Surya Mandalam, it starts with invoking the seven Suryas, Arogo Bhrajaf Pataraf Patangaha, Swarnaro Jyotishiman Vibhasaha. Those are the seven, and how those seven operate in the universe. And there is this eighth one called Kashyapa, and that Kashyapa never leaves the Meru. And we have studied through this mantra where the beauty of the rishis is always about connecting what is outside with what is inside. That is the only objective of the rishi. The rishis are not interested in describing signs, but in describing what is external. Profound concepts are laid out of science, as we have been studying in the first six Anuvakas, how beautifully the profound aspect of the manifestation of divinity outside only for sustained and nothing. That's and then in this particular Anuvakam 7, looking at this aspect about Surya Mandalam, the constellation of Suryas. And this constellation of 8 Suryas that have been invoked is always the manifestation of that thing called Soma. And through this Soma, I'm summarizing everything because we have the tendency to completely lose the context when we go into the class. Unless you really study the material of the previous class before you come to this class, you have no clue what you're listening to. You're disconnected. And for those of you who are extremely busy not to pay attention to anything happening after the class, this is the summary. So that Soma is the one that has given the power to Kashyapa, And in this Kashyapa are present the 7 Suryas, Arogo, Bhrajaf, Pataraf, Patanga, Swarnaro, Jyotishiman, Vibhasaha. They get their luminance from this Kashyapa, just like a goldsmith uses different bellies to pump the fire into different bellies. Kashyapa also pumps this incredible illumination power into these 7. And these 7 uh, are the ones that are internally equivalent to pranaha, jivani, indriya, jivani, sapta, sirshanya prana. They are internally related to the 7 fires within as the life forces, internally related to the 7 organs of perception that are in the head, internally related to the indriyas that are constantly getting the perception from this Kashyapa. And then there are 2 rishis that have said that they have seen these 7 rishis, these 7 sons. Panchakarno Vatsayanah Saptakarnascha Plakshihi. But they only said, we only have heard about this Kashyapa. We did not see this Kashyapa. And then there is this Gargya Pranatrataha. Pranatrata, who belongs to Gargya Maharshi, has said, Apashyam Aham Etat Surya Mandalam Parivartamanam. Yes, I have seen this entire Surya Mandalam that is now present in this Kashyapa. I have been there. You too can go there. You can also reach this Mahameru. Gachanta Mahamerum. There he describes that there are 4 Bhraja Patara Patanga, those 3 that are shining below the Meru and illumining the worlds. There are 4 that are above. Amutra Itare Tasmadiha Ataptritapah. So then the mantra is always describing outside and describing inside. What is this for? The inside, for the one who is involved in this Surya Upasana, or this constant integration of awareness with this Surya Mandalam that is outside. For that one, Tan Anveti Patebhi Dakshinavana. Then for him, Ghritam Atapanti. Ghritam means they will connect to the core of what is present inside. That is a Ghrita is a Ghrini. Surya Aditya. Ghrini is Ojasvi. Surya is Tejasvi. Aditya is Manasvi. Ghrini, Surya, Aditya, how it is related to inside? Ghrini is the core, and that is called Ojas. Surya is radiance, that is called Tejas. Tejas is the beautiful expression of that inner core of radiance. If the Ojas only remains inside and doesn't express itself, we cannot even perceive that Ojas. Ojas is perceived through Tejas. And the Tejas is what enables us to perceive the sun. Without Tejas, you cannot perceive the sun. And then there is the next aspect, which is the Manas. When that radiance that is coming from inside expresses itself as the Manas, as in thought, word, and speech, that is Manas. In that context, what happens? When your inner core is so powerful, that inner core expresses itself. In your thought, there will be radiance. In your word, there will be radiance. In your act, there will be radiance. And that is the purpose of this spiritual sadhana. Everything that is inside has to come out 100% expression. That is the upasana. Upasana means going closer and closer into that ojas. Urjanduhana anapaspuranta iti. Then what will your be life will be? Saptatvija surya ityacharya tesham esha bhavati. Now I am explaining to you how what is the mantra outside, what is the mantra inside. This is the sadhana. This is the only point of sadhana. Constantly integrating awareness is the sadhana. Constantly integrating. When there is 2 minute time, don't waste the time with unnecessary talk, unnecessary engagement in actions. The 2 minutes time uh, can be used for internalizing, connecting, giving the space between the thoughts. How does the space between the thoughts come? This is what is called as the yajna, inner yajna, saptahotara ritvijaha. The 7 ritviks, there will be 7 ritviks inside you. And those ritviks are getting this illuminance from inside, and therefore what you see becomes yajna, what you hear becomes yajna, what you breathe is yajna, what you feel is yajna, what you touch is yajna. So what you hear is yajna. All the 7, they become ritviks. Who are the ritviks inside you? The 5 jnanendriyas, the manas and the intellect, the mind and the intellect, they become the 7 ritviks. And those 7 ritviks, tebhi somabhirakshana iti, then those would be protected by this soma abhirakshana iti. Then last class when we discussed entire 7th Anuvakam, I am giving the summary, the synopsis. And how that happens is because only when there is constant integration of the thought process with the mantra, then automatically when you are chanting the mantra, the expression of that mantra becomes real for you. In your own experience, it will become. But for that, you have to do sadhana. By the way, the quiz is published on the Rutumandala. Quiz number 4. For those of you who are in the class, already got the link. And every quiz is kept only for 1 week. I decided not to do the quizzes, but there were so many people requesting, no, we want to take the quizzes. Please post them. Because they're serious. It's not a time pass business. No. Why do you want to waste 2 hours or 2.5 hours of your precious time every weekend if you're not serious about it? Take this as a study, a class. So then there is this Maharshi called Vaishampayana. He said, no, it is not actually 8. There are infinite number of earths, infinite number of Suryas. Yadyava indrate shatagum shatam bhumi. Dhyava indrate. Yat Dhyava Indra te shatam bhumi. O Indra, te Indra, O Indra, you have te yet all these Dhyava, the skies, Prithvi, the Bhumi, the earth, infinite number of Dhyava, infinite number of Bhumi. So there the Indra represents the one who has this incredible power of supreme consciousness. How is that related to you inside? How is that related to you inside? Sahasra etayaiva sahasra suryataya iti Vaishampayana. Vaishampayana has experienced that. And there, now we come to the last mantra of this Anuvakam, number 7, 25th mantra. Om. Okay, first let's look at the words. Anunajatamashtarodasi iti.
अनुनजातमष्टरोदसी इति
Rodasi iti.
रोदसी इति
नानालिङ्गत्वाद्
नानालिङ्गत्वाद् ऋतूनां
नानासूर्यत्वम्
नानासूर्यत्वम्
अष्टौ तु व्यवसिता इति
अष्टौ तु व्यवसिता इति
सूर्यमण्डलान्यष्टात ऊर्ध्वम्
सूर्यमण्डलान्यष्टात् ऊर्ध्वम्
तेषामेषा भवति.
तेषामेषा भवति.
Very good. Okay, now let us learn those 5 lines in the 25th mantra. अनुनजातमष्टरोदसी इति
अनुनजातमष्टरोदसी इति अनुनजातमष्टरोदसी इति
नानालिङ्गत्वाद्रुतूनान्नानासूर्यत्वम्
नानालिङ्गत्वादृतूनान्नानासूर्यत्वम् नानालिङ्गत्वादृतूनान्नानासूर्यत्वम्
अष्टौ तु व्यवसिता इति
अष्टौ तु व्यवसिता इति अष्टौ तु व्यवसिता इति
सूर्यमण्डलान्यष्टात् ऊर्ध्वम्
सूर्यमण्डलान्यष्टात् ऊर्ध्वम् सूर्यमण्डलान्यष्टात् ऊर्ध्वम्
तेषामेषा भवति.
तेषामेषा भवति तेषामेषा भवति
अनुनजातमष्टरोदसी इति नानालिङ्गत्वाद्रुतूनान्नानासूर्यत्वम् अष्टौ तौ व्यवसिता इति सूर्यमण्डलान्यष्टात् ऊर्ध्वम् तेषामेषा भवति.
अनुनजातमष्टरोदसी इति नानालिङ्गत्वादृतूनान्नानासूर्यत्वम् अष्टौ तु व्यवसिता इति सूर्यमण्डलान्यष्टात् ऊर्ध्वम् तेषामेषा भवति.
Okay. This last line of the mantra, the first line of this mantra actually belongs to the previous flow of thought, if you will. So that is Anuna Jatam Ashta Rodasi Iti. Therefore, that mantra means Rodasi Jatam, born in the heavens, the space between, the space that combines or connects the earth to heaven, that space is called Rodasi. That is the name given to that is called Rodasi. So this Rodasi Jatam. Rodasi is this incredible space that is covering. And that in that Rodasi are born infinite number of earths and heavens, or earths and Dyava Bhumi, like described. Na anu ashta natva iti. That is the syntax. Na anu ashta cannot be enveloping. Natva iti. So what he's saying is this infinite number of heavens and earths that are present in that space which carries this infinite number of suns and infinite number of suns and infinite number of heavens and earths, though if you imagine that much amount of space cannot even cover the supreme consciousness. Huh? Can you comprehend what this vision of this rishis is? Every time you come to a point of, yes, now I know this, what this is, immediately they will make sure that you are not caught up in that thought, and therefore you feel, I know what this is. Oh, this is infinite number of skies, infinite number of earth. That is what, stop there. This, what we're talking, this space that is covering this infinite number of earths. Sahasragum, Sahasram Suryaha, thousands of suns, along with infinite number of Dhyava, the upper worlds, Uta also, infinite number of Bhumis, the earths. If you come along with the Sahasram Surya, along with thousands of suns, and that space in which they are all contained or born, called Rodasi, even that Rodasi that is so magnanimous and infinite in its infinite its dimension, cannot envelop this supreme consciousness called Indra. Na anu ashta natva iti rodasi jatam. So that natva, that natva is the previous line. Okay, that's what it come down a little bit. Yeah. So natva vajrin sahasragam surya. The continuation of the same thought is anunajatam ashtarodasi iti. See, now the previous mantra is talking about, that's providing the inference or logic for existence of thousands of suns. And this mantra is now saying that even thousands of those, along with thousands of heavens and earths, they are limited and they cannot cove the supreme being, aka also known as this Virat Swarupam. And that Virat Swarupam is pervading hundreds and hundreds of heavenly worlds and earths. So now you see what the Rishi is saying. This Vaishampayana is saying, hey man, you are thinking, now you see, brothers and sisters, how incredibly ignorant we are, how incredibly limited we are when it comes to this magnificent universe, how limited you are. But our ego is much bigger than all of this, you understand? And if you have to really annihilate your ego, just sit in the room where you are. Zoom out a little bit to your house. Zoom out a little bit to your county. How small you become in the context of your county. Zoom out a little bit to your country. See where you are. Pin yourself in the room. Good map locate your place. And then zoom in and start zooming out. Zooming out mentally. And when you zoom out mentally, what a speck you are in the space of the country you represent. How much of a speck is that country when it is represented on the earth? How much of a speck is that earth in the context of just the 9-planet Surya Mandalam in which you are staying? Zoom out and see in the galaxy where you are compared to infinite number of suns. And zoom out, zoom out, and then ask the question, why is my bloody ego bigger than all of that? Then you will understand you don't even matter in this bloody universe. Your existence doesn't even matter in the context of a universe. But yet, your ego is bigger than the whole universe. That is the ignorance, level of ignorance that we have. The Rishi is pointing out, huh? Anunajatamashta natva vajrin sahasragum suryaha anunajatamashtarodasi iti. Somebody is unmuted. So, where we are coming to now is in this Surya Mandalam, the context of Surya Mandalam, and that Surya Mandalam that is now around this Kashyapa. And this Kashyapa, nobody has even seen this Kashyapa. Huh? Even the greatest of rishis with all their power of tapas have not been, perceptualized that. And now here is Vaishampayana describing this infinite galaxies of these Surya Mandalas. Arey, then what happens to me? Yaar, where am I in this context? Okay. Then we go into this mantra 25, next line. Nana lingatva drutunan nana suryatvam.
Oh, Uncle, we did this.
Oh, we already went
Yeah.
through that. Now the next mantra is talking about Nana Lingatvat Rutunam Nana Surya. In this nature, in this Rutu, the laws of nature, there are many principles of what? Nana Suryatvam. Many Suryas, infinite number of Suryas. Nana Lingatva Drutunam Nana Suryatvam. Ashtau tu Vyavasitaha iti. Surya Mandalani Ashta Ataha Urdhvam ta Esham Esha iti Bhavati. Ashtau tu Vyavasita iti. It was said before that there are this suns. Who are the 8? Arogo Bhraj Pataraf Patanga Swarnaro Jyot Vibhasa Kashyapa. So, per earlier reference to those 8 suns, it is now reiterated that there are 8 constellations of sun up above. Now, what above that? The following mantra now elaborates. So, this constellation of the galaxies and the Suryas, everything, you are now lost in this infinite space. But when it comes back to you, don't be fooled with all that infinite. Come back to yourself. When you come back to yourself, there are only 8, and those 8 are represented by your the 7, the 8 represented by the 8 pranas, 7 pranas plus the mind, like that. So what the Rishi is saying is, oh, don't get lost in that space. Come back. Ashtautu Vyavasita iti. Surya Mandalani Ashta Ataha Urdhvam. So now it came back to the reference. So now you see this incredible aspect of finite to infinite, infinite to the finite. This is the cycle in which the mind operates through many, many principles that are existing. That is what is called that principle of what is inside. going out, multiplying in its expression in the creation, coming back to itself with memory. This entire process, if you were to refer to internally, inside within us, it is called linga. Linga. That is what is called linga sharira. So this linga sharira, I don't know why. When the individual leaves this body, the gross body, the individual will take this linga sharira. And that linga sharira is the one that travels forward. This is only for ordinary people, not for Mahatmas, Paramahamsas, or avatars, etc. They are not the bodies to begin with. They are not the bodies to begin with. Body is just a upadhi for them. But for those who have identified themselves with the body, for those who have completely identified themselves with the body, then what happens is when the last breath is gone from the body, then it becomes this what is called Linga Sharira. And that Linga Sharira, the ritual process in Sanatana Dharma, very clearly describes what is the path of this individual when it leaves this gross body, what will it take with it, and then how it would even relinquish that. If they are, if they are, now I don't want to get into the, because there are next set of mantras that we will study in the eighth Anuvaka about death itself. How many types of deaths are there? What happens to the body after the death? This is not ordinary. What we are studying in Aruna Prishna is not ordinary. And to prepare the mind, this mind, the speaker's mind, Bhagavan has determined that it has to be studied like this. So the infinite, when it became the finite has to expand to infinity. How it expands to infinity? Through many, many thought processes, nana lingatvad rutunam, that are naturally born within us. Through those, each of those thoughts, the individual multiplies from the finite, from the infinite to the, from condenses from the Bhagwan, what he said very beautifully. I know this recently. I had this experience in South Africa, in a satsang in South Africa. I believe in a center called Balito in Durban. The whole topic that day was about. I was talking about how the infinite power becomes a finitized. Uh, ఒక అనంతమైన శక్తి. I'll tell you in Telugu what Bhagavan has said. అనంతమైన శక్తి ఒక వ్యక్తి అవుతుంది. ఆ వ్యక్తిలో రక్తి ఉంటుంది. ఆ రక్తి ప్రపంచం వైపు తిప్పితే అనురక్తి. అదే రక్తి భగవంతుడి వైపు తిప్పితే భక్తి. భక్తి ముదిరితే విరక్తి. విరక్తి మూలంగా mukti. So this whole thing is what Bhagavan is saying is the infinite becomes finite as an individual. And when this individual is packed within this thing called Chaitanya, the Chit, that Chaitanya that is packed inside this individual, when that Chaitanya, the conscience, when it is turned towards the world, it becomes a passion. Whereas when it is turned towards the God, it becomes a compassion. When you turn the potential that God has already packed in you towards the world, it is called passion. That's why all the corporate people say passionate, passionate, because you have to produce results to drive the stock up. That's what all they care about. But when the same passion within you is turned towards God, it becomes compassion, and compassion is devotion. Love is devotion. And that compassion is packed in individuals who naturally, when they have natural love for God, naturally that love expresses through them. And when that natural love expresses through them, because they have infinite love for God, and that love for God expresses towards every person in the creation. And that beautiful compassion, when it becomes a devotion, as a devotion matures, it becomes a detachment. And through detachment, you get liberation. And that was the topic and I started this satsang with I was singing this bhajan. And then the whole satsang was over, maybe 2 hours. And one brother asked, Brother, can you please condense what the take home message from this satsang is? And then uh, um, I didn't know what to say. I said, okay, let's look for the thought for the day and see what is the. So I opened the thought for the day and I was reading the thought for the day. Exactly what I told. This Shakti, Vyakti, Rakti, Anurakti. That was the thought for the day and that day. It was like, that is when you realize that every thought that when it is coming through you, every speech that is coming through you is so much synchronized with Bhagavan. Nana lingatva dhrutunam nana suryatvam. You become infinite. The constant struggle of the jiva is to now go from this finite to that infinite. To begin with, you are infinite. And then you got finitized. The struggle of life is now going back to that infinite. If you don't do that, what happens will be described in the Anuvakam 8. When we are going into Anuvakam 8, what happens to those that do not strive to put an effort to go from finite to infinite? So therefore, as many number of thoughts that are there are so many Suryas within you, because every thought of yours is a light ray. Just like the sun has infinite number of rays. When you are illumined by this Bhagavan, Bhagavan means light and wisdom. Every thought of yours becomes a sun's ray, and every thought is therefore one Surya Mandalam. I'm not talking about ordinary people. I am talking about the people who are in that state of infinite consciousness. So now, Nana Lingadvat, Rutunam, Nana Suryatvam, all of this is around this Ashtaman, the Ashtasurya that is talking about. How does that become infinite? Okay, this is the next set of lines. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines. The next 4 lines. This is a very beautiful, powerful mantra. And this mantra is chanted as a Surya Upasthana mantra in Sandhya Vandanam during the Madhyamika Sandhya, which many people don't do. So therefore they won't know this mantra. Okay. Those very rarely anybody does any Sandhya Vandanam. Now you ask them to talk about Madhyamika Sandhya, they don't even Madhyamika Sandhya. They're all very busy keeping corporations very successful, working like dogs and donkeys. Chitran Devana Mudagadanekam.
Chitran devanamudagadanekam.
चक्षुर्मित्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः
Chakshurmitrasya varunasyaग्नेः.
आप्राद्यावा पृथिवी अंतरिक्षम
आप्राद्यावा पृथिवी अंतरिक्षम.
सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्थुषश्चेति.
सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्थुषश्चेति.
Wonderful, da, very good. Every time you are perfect. So this mantra, let's now learn this mantra in the next set of 4 lines. Chitran devanamudag Chitran devanamudagadanekam.
चित्रं देवानामुदगादनीकम्. चित्रं देवानामुदगादनीकम्.
चक्षुर्मेत्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः
चक्षुर्मेत्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः चक्षुर्मेत्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः
आप्राद्या वा पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षम्
आप्राद्या वा पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षम् आप्राद्या वा पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षम्
सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्थुषश्चेति
सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्थुषश्चेति सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्थुषश्चेति
चित्रं देवानामुदगादनीकं चक्षुर्मेत्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः आप्राद्या वा पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षं सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्थुषश्चेति
चित्रं देवानामुदगादनीकम् चक्षुर्मित्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः आप्राद्या वा पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षम् सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्थुषश्चेति
Excellent. Chitram Devanam Udagat Anikam Chakshuhu Mitrasya Varunasya Agnehe Apra Dyava Prithivi Antariksham Surya Atma Jagataha Tasthushaha Cha iti. So let's now look at the syntax of how the sentence is constructed. Chitram Anikam. Chitram. Chitram means not wonderful. Okay. The word Chitram in Sanskritam doesn't mean wonderful like we use in Telugu. So Chitram means it's like a beautiful painting or a picture. It's a picture. Chitram Anikam. Beautiful pictures. Anikam. There are a myriad of these beautiful resplendent forms. Anikam. A myriad of these incredible, beautiful pictures of what? Devanam Udagat. The divine rises up. The divine rises up. The light. Deva means light. Divi means light. Devanam Udagat. Udagat means rise. As that, how does that rising happen? That rising happens as Chakshuhu, as the eyes, as the vision. And this Chakshu, that is this rising sun, as the sun, as the Mitra, as the Varuna, as the Agni. Mitra, Varuna, Agni, Asya, Chakshuhu, Mitra, Asya. Actually, that should be Mitrasya is Mitra, Asya, Mitrasya, Mitrasya, Varunasya, Agnehe Chakshuhu. So this, so what that I will explain what that means externally, what that means internally. So the rising sun, mitrasya charshane dhruto devasya sasinaha satyanchitrasavastavam mitro na jnanjayati prajanan mitro dadhara prithvi mutajjam. That mantra is called the Surya Upasthana mantra in Pratah Sandhya Vandanam. Morning Sandhya Vandanam mantram is that is Surya Upasthana mantra. So this Mitra, then in the evening is called Varuna, and that Varuna is there is a different mantra for the Varuna also. It will come in a second. And then there is the Agni. These are the three that are given the vision by this beautiful picture that the Rishi is painting. The rising sun is Mitra, the setting sun is Varuna, and the fire during the night is the Agni. Now, what are they doing? This Apra. Apra also means Apura. From this Apura means filling. Apura means filling. Apra means filling or pervading. Pervading what? Dhyava, Prithvi, Antariksham. The sky, the earth, and the atmosphere. Surya, the constellation of the Surya, are therefore Jagataha. For all those that are born and gone, also tasthushaha. Tasthushaha means those that do not move. Jagataha tasthushaha atma iti. Indweller. Atma. The Dehi that is filling the sky as Mitra, Varuna, and also as Agni. The same is the eyes, means the vision or the ability to perceive. Eyes here doesn't mean the physical eyes, the perceptual capability for Sthavara, Jangama, those that move, those that do not move, Jagataha, those that come and that they go, for all the beings, for Mitra, Varuna, Agni, for all the beings, that which fills everyone as the Atma, that is what this infinite Surya represents. That is the beautiful, this called Brahmana. Now, condensing the entire Surya Mandalam, this last mantra is given just so that the perspective is not lost as who this really, what this infinite sun. Uh, I don't know when was that shot that brother released. Let me be one with the infinite sun forever, forever and ever. Kuvake leno leno maute. I know, I know, I know. Let me be one with the infinite sun forever, forever and ever. Kuvake leno leno maute. I know, I know, I know. Nobody knows what is the origin of this song is, but it is a native Indian song as it is referred to, that they sing this connected to the nature. Let me be one with the infinite sun. Chitram devana mudagadanekam chakshur mitrasya varunasya apradyava prithvi antariksham surya atma jagatasthasthushascheti. Uh, so, how we conclude the Surya Mandala mantra is very beautifully with this thing called Atma. This thing called Atma. Uh, Atmaram. We conclude with this Atma. And this Atma, just this some of these concepts are also elaborated in Surya Upanishad. Chakshur Mitrasya Varunasya. How he is the Chakshuhu. Where is the Surya referred to as Chakshu in which mantram? Huh? most commonly
Purusha
chanted?
Suktam.
Purusha
Purusha Suktam.
Suktam. Yes. Chaksho Suryo Ajayata. So that chakshu that is referred to is chakshu is the perceptual capability within that which is the knower, the understander, and the one who is aware. All those aspects are associated with chakshu. Here chakshu also represents that which is the intellect, and that when it is connected to this infinite aspect of the sun, chitram anikam, not what a beautiful vision of the rishi. Yeah. So this is the Surya Upasthana mantra in Madhyanik Sandhya Vandanam. This Brahmana now brings a closure to all the descriptions of the seven Suryas as the performer of the yajna, then the metaphor of these infinite suns, and how these suns are oriented with respect to the axis called Mahameru, and the Kashyapa and the Soma. And now all those things, the infinite space that is covering, that is holding all this in place, huh? Holding all of this in place. Remember that. How that holding, how that happens, we'll go into the eighth mantra, eighth Anuvaka. We'll getting into that. Now these, the mandalas, and now bringing it all closer to this thing called Atma, which is the indweller. Indweller. To be able to connect to this indweller while this mind is in the body, that is what is called Jivan Mukti. You are detached from all of this. That's the whole purpose of the Triambakam Yajamahe mantra. Of course, the mantra has a supreme healing power and Akala Mrityu and all of that stuff. But that is not what the mantra is actually talking about. It has the power, the healing power. But the one who is detached from all of this and yet connected, detached from what? Detached from this identification that is so strong to the self, to this body, and to the mind. When that detachment happens, you become infinite. Unbelievably, you became infinite. And how that detachment happens? That was the satsang in Balito. How does the detachment happen? That was the satsang. So it's actually a paradox. You are not attached to begin with, to be detached. uh, that is the delusion you are under. You are not attached to begin with. So when you are detached from that gross body, when that gross body is gone, there is no what we call as a feeling of loss. You have not lost anything because it is always there. It is always there. Especially that of a mother and a father, always there. You don't have to see them physically to feel their love. You don't have to see Swami physically to feel that love. Swami's love is here and now. In fact, I would say much more profound after he left the body than when he was in the body. Our connection with him has gotten attached to his miracles. Detach from that first. Don't look for this miracle all the time. Because there is a miracle that is already happening through you. Surya Atma Jagataha Tastushaschaha Iti. What is this Atma? What is the definition of Atma? I explained this when we did the acronym Atma. What does it stand for? Anybody remember? First mantra of Rudram.
Awareness of thoughts, words, and
Can't hear whoever said whatever. Speak loudly, Sairam.
awareness, thought,
Who is speaking?
Mind
Oh,
and
yeah. Yama, Chappu.
awareness of thoughts,
Hmm.
mind and
Hmm. Action. Yes. Awareness in thought, mind, and action. This is Atma. So then what happens? This beautiful, beautiful poem of Bhagavan. దేహము పంచభౌతికము దేహము కూలక తప్పదెప్పుడు దేహి నిరామయుండు గణుతింపక దేహికి చావు పుట్టుకల మోహ నిబంధనల ముద్రలు లేవు నిజంబు చూడనా దేహియే దేవదేవుడు మదింతలపోయగన ఆత్మరూపుడై. I think last week also I chanted this poem of Bhagavan, which he chanted, which he quoted so many times in so many discourses, constantly reminding us that, hey, you fools, I am not the body, because this body is panchabhautikam. It is made up of 5 elements, and this body that is made of 5 elements, that is definitely need to be fallen and burnt at some time or the other. దేహము పంచభౌతికము దేహము కూలక తప్పదెప్పుడు. It has to fall sometime or the other. దేహి, the indweller, నిరామయుండు, he is not touched by any of this stuff. గణుతింపగా, if you count దేహికి, for this indweller, చావు పుట్టుకల మోహ నిబంధనల ముద్రలు లేవు. There are no stamps of births, deaths, bondages, attachments associated with this dehi. గణుతింపక దేహికి చావు పుట్టుకల మోహ నిబంధనల ముద్రలు లేవు. నిజంబు చూడా, ఇఫ్ యు సీ ద ట్రూత్, ఆ దేహియే, that dehi is none other than Devadeva. He is the God of all the gods. That is what is talking about Jagatastastushascheti. చిత్రం దేవానా ముదగాదనీకం చక్షుర్మిత్రస్య వరుణస్య అగ్నేకే ఆప్రాద్యావా పృథివీ అంతరిక్షం సూర్య ఆత్మా జగతస్థస్థుషశ్చేతి. Supreme mantras, no, this is Brahmana. Now, not chanting the mantra, when you bring that mantra into its essence, that is the poem that Bhagavan. So then what happens? Nizambuchuda. If you actually look at that, the Dehiye Devadevudu. Devadevudu means the one who is giving illuminance to what is being illumined. The light for all the lights, that is Surya Bhagavan. The light for all the lights is none other than your Atma itself. Surya Atma. Surya is equal to Atma. Jagataha tastushacheti iti. Tastushaschaha means that which moves, that which do not move, that which comes and goes, and to the entire Dhyava, Prithvi, Antariksham, to the space, the earth and the atmosphere, and to the Mitra, Varuna and Agni, to all these things. When you interconnect, there is this beautiful picture that you can see. Chitram Udagad Anikam. Chitran Udagad Anikam. You will see this beautiful picture, the whole universe, the constellation through which everything is shining. What is making it shine? Your own Atma. Okay. Now that is how the finite has become infinite. The finite has become infinite. Why do you cry for it then? It's a good news, no? Why do you have to cry for it? Celebrate it. Celebrate this love that has now expanded and available now all the time. So don't grieve for Bhagavan also. This body literally wept for Bhagavan for exactly 5 minutes on that April 24th, 2011. After that, it was an experience of incredible energy and light and love, because that divinity is saying, hey, how many times you have seen me in the body? How many times you came to Puttaparthi and saw my body? But when you go back to America, was I not there? Did you need to see me physically to experience my love? No, you didn't. Why? Because he's the Atma Swarupa. He is the Dehi. And the ultimate blasphemy is to give him another body and call him another body. Sukshma Deha, this Deha, that Deha. That is blasphemy. Because when God is saying, I am the Dehi, and you continue to point to him, you are the Deha only, what are you doing? Huh? Konu Mariya Amititaha Sakha Sakhayam Abravit Jaha ko Asmadishate Yastityaj Sakivitagum Sakayam Nahi Praveda Sukritasya Pantha. Now this is mantra. Now this mantra becomes, now this is mantra chanting you. Every time the mantra will tell you, hey, focus on the bigger picture, focus on this universe, focus on how infinite and supreme and unlimited you as the Atma, you are the Atma, and everything else is in this Atma. Now, there are many questions that will come from this. So, what is the time now? Oh, 5 minutes already over. Okay, let's chant Yadaksharapada Bhrashtam with Koteshwara Ruva. Yadaksharapada Bhrashtam.
ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं
Matra.
मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पादपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व सायीश्वरम् अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व सायीश्वरम् अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष सायीश्वर हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्री सायीश्वरार्पणमस्तु
Very good. Infinite become finite. Okay. But why did the infinite become the finite? Okay. You all have time for this incredible question?
Yes, yes, please.
But why did the infinite become the finite? Ah, sir. That's a beautiful question, sir.
Seems
Now,
like
it is
that is
called
the question.
delusion. The infinite has not become anything. Huh? In truth, the infinite has not become anything. It's being mistaken as being finite. So that's the highest truth. That is, but what we perceive, uh, what we perceive as individuals is that we are finite. Is the creation, the expression of the creator in creation is manifested because of many aspects that we have studied in Rahasyatrayam, in Devi Mahatyam. The other day only, I was going through this with my sister as we were chanting Dakshinamurti Stotram. The first aspect is the seed, when it expressed itself, became the tree. But in truth, if you did not, in truth, the seed has only expressed itself, but ultimately it became the seed only. The whole thing became condensed into the seed only. How did it become so? Because of three things called Desha, Kala, Kalana, space, time, and causality. These are the three things that have made the infinite become finite. Not become finite, maybe that's the wrong way to express it. The infinite is expressing itself as finite. The infinite is expressing itself as finite. Bijashyantarivankuro jagadidam prang nirvikalpa punaha maya kalpita deshakala kalana vaichitrya chitrikritam mayaviva vijrumbhayatyapi mahayogi vayasvechaya tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. So the first aspect of the infinite appearing as finite because of the three aspects of space, time, and causality. If you remove those vectors, you are only looking at the infinite in the context of those three finite parameters, or what we call as dimensions. If you look at the word dimension, when mentioning dice, it's called dimension. So this dimension is what makes it look like the infinite has turned finite. What is the other aspect of the infinite appearing as the finite? The other vectors that are feeding into is nama, rupa, kriya, name, form, function. And that name, form, and function makes the infinite appear as finite. Therefore, in the Devi Mahatyam, Rahasyatrayam, the first Rahasyam is the only infinite space, the Maha Lakshmi, that is the one, that Devi, that is Adi Parashakti, that is pervading all the space, decided to fill herself, and therefore from her manifested this Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. And then she said, okay, your name is Mahakali, you have 10 names, those 10 names indicate what exactly your functions are, and that also represented by your form. Name, form, function is how the infinite will appear as the finite. And then there is the third aspect of how the infinite appears as finite. That is what is called sattva, rajas, tamo, guna, the three attributes. And when those three attributes are taken away, what remains is the substance. Why does the rope appear as a snake? Because of the qualities of the rope that makes it appear as a snake. So that is the third aspect of why the infinite appears as finite. Just like the wave appears as the final. That is how it happens. Okay, I think that's a very condensed explanation I have ever given for how the says. Okay, is there any follow-up, Unnikrishnan sir?
I think the whole journey is a follow-up, sir, because this is a continued question, causality. Why do I have to ask anyway? I mean, if I find the answer, I think I found the answer. I think that's what I think. That's the journey all about, Saira. But beautiful
Yeah,
that
so you use it. Boliye?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, beautiful that you reminded the three ways to look at it: time, space, time, and causality, and Nama, Rupa, Kriya, and the gunas. And wonderful. Well, the question keeps happening, keeps coming. Why that? Why do I have the God? I mean, I know it is said that I created that Bhagavad Gita. Say I made these gunas. Okay, fine. But why did you take the time to? I mean, if I look at the infinite standpoint, why did that happen? Why should that happen? And I mean, there are many.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sarah.
No. No. Let's not, sir. It is very beautiful question. Let's not leave it like that. Now, the answer to that question is the way instead of asking the question why did it happen, the appropriate question is how did it happen? Because there is sometimes in nature, for the natural phenomena, there is no answer to why. Why is the water wet? Why does the water flow from high to low? Why? No, there is no answer to that why. Because it is its nature. The answer is it is its nature. Now, the moment use the word nature, what is nature? The nature is nothing but the three gunas. The nature is nothing but the three gunas.
Mhm.
Therefore, It is a natural phenomenon of the infinite to become the finite because of the three gunas. And why did that why did it happen? Because the what we call as the perception cannot occur through guna. Without gunas are made, you actually perceive. It finitizes, therefore you can perceive it as a object. But the sadhana is always about asking the question, I am perceiving it like that. Why am I perceiving it like that? Because these three things are finitizing that infinite. The moment you remove those finite vectors, then what it become? Chitran Devana Mudagadanikam. It's a beautiful picture of this consciousness that is rising as a wave, and that consciousness becomes the light that is behind everything. So that is the way we have to look at it. Thank you for a lovely question. It's a very important question. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Now, why do I need to have this in this thing? What is the purpose of that? What is the purpose of constantly reminding yourself that you are not the finite and the infinite? Why? Practically, what does it do for you? When you have this awareness, you will be untouched by the duality of the gain or the loss, of the pain or the pleasure, all the duality of the beauty and the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly, all the duality vectors are then taken away in that awareness. Then what will be life to you?
Mhm.
Life will be constantly expansion is my life.
Mhm.
You are constantly trying to expand to that. Sairam. So sorry for too much philosophy there, but it's a very beautiful
Beautiful.
question.
Thank you, Saira.
Sairam. Yes. Are there any other questions? 57. Okay. 20 minutes more. Okay.
Can I
Uncle,
make
just
one more observation, please, sir? Just one.
Please.
Now this particular, I mean, the whole Aruna Prashna is is what is what when he said that there's only one ek, or in Bible and God said it shall be created in 7 days, the whole light. So this explains that particular statement. This leads us to understanding that particular statement. How, I mean, the science will ask you, how did in 7 day God do that? Why did he say there's only one? I think the whole Aruna Prashna is so scientifically put together. I mean, just absolutely incredible poetry and science all together. Just an observation, Saira.
Yes, sir. Yes, 100%. It's poetry. It is science. It is a study about it. It is about study of knowledge, its source, its manifestation. This is Aruna Prashna. And to come to this Aruna Prashna study, when the foundation is laid with the Rudram, and foundation is laid with the Devi Mahatyam, the connection happens instantaneous. That's why Aruna Prashna, I've reserved it as the last one after almost 10 yajnas, because now the mind is prepared to undertake it. So you have to have a prepared mind to even come close to these concepts. Otherwise, it will happen. What it will do is it will be simply chanting this Aruna Prashna, beautiful chanting people will do, but they have no awareness of what they are chanting. So it brings us all to this integrated awareness. And now how it is even taught. There will be a question. The eighth Anuvaka that we will go into will come with a huge set of questions. Vedam abhrannivishate, Kvayagam samvatsaro midaha. All the question after question after question. And when those questions come, it's like me talking to somebody. It's like me talking to Swami. This journey of this body and mind with Bhagavan is always asking questions to Swami about all these Vedic principles. Because that's the relationship between that's the relationship you should have with Bhagavan. And then when in that relationship, Question comes, and then there will be an answer. From that, another question will come. Question after question will. This is why it is called it for a seeker. Aruna Prashna is for a seeker, not for just for a chanter. It's very powerful. Okay, Sairam, thank you. Oh, sorry, somebody was asking. Somebody said something before Unni Krishnanji. Somebody said uncle.
Yeah, I
Oh.
just had a quick question just to clarify what is meant by the sky and so Dyava and Antariksham. I mean, what's the difference between is the atmosphere everything outside? I mean, what is the difference between the sky and the atmosphere? Like, where does it stop? Where does it
You don't know
distinct?
that? You don't know that difference between atmosphere and space?
So,
Is there the atmosphere of the Earth? Earth has certain layer of atmosphere, no? After that, that atmosphere stops, but the space continues to exist, isn't it?
yeah. So when they say Dyava, which Dyava means the sky
Java
or
means
space?
the yeah, sky, space. What is sky? There's nothing called.
Oh, got it. Okay, okay.
Uh, what is sky? What is space? See, the incredible way to teach, incredible way to live in teaching is from the gross, you should keep going into the subtler, the subtlest, and the subtlest of something. And then as you go to the subtlest, then you will begin to experience that infinity. And so, therefore, earth, atmosphere, and beyond perception of that is the space. And what is beyond space? What is beyond space? So that we will get into that. What is space? What is holding everything in this space? Anuvakam 8. Stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll start Anuvakam 8. Okay.
Okay.
Swastif Prajabhyah Paripal. Swastif Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaah Gobrahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba.